Hello everyone, and let's talk about Quantum Break. And this is the news that Quantum Break will be a Windows 10 exclusive, Windows 10 Store exclusive. Of course, you can't only play it on Windows 10 on the PC. It is going to be a DirectX 12 game, so of course it is going to require Windows 10, but there's going to be no Steam, no Origin release, and a lot of people are up in arms about this and saying that, no Steam version, no sale. My opinion is this is going to hurt the sales. It certainly is, because there's a lot of people who just want to play on Steam. Okay, I get that it's Windows 10, get that it's a Microsoft exclusive, but if you look at the other big company that own their exclusive store is CD Projekt Red, who own GOG. .com, if you didn't know that. Is owned by CD Projekt Red. Now, when they put out The Witcher 3, they put it out on GOG, obviously. I have the GOG version of The Witcher 3. They also put it on Steam. They also put it on other websites like Green Man Gaming, etc., and other websites that sell Steam codes. Well, PC codes. And they also put it on Origin as well. I believe it's still on EA's Origin service as well. So, they put it out on multiple different, websites and different services, because they want to get as many sales as possible for the game. Just putting it out on one platform on the PC, it kind of goes against what PC gaming is about. The whole idea of PC gaming is digital distribution is meant to be, there's meant to be competition there. At least. And I get Microsoft, they don't like competition. We get that. I get that about them. But this is not the Xbox, We want a choice of where we buy our games. We might choose to buy it from Origin. We might choose to buy it from Steam. We might want it from somewhere other than the Windows Store. Now, this makes it a Windows 10 app. There's a lot of restrictions on Windows 10 apps. And obviously, this is another move as well, DRM, you could argue, to prevent piracy as well. A lot of things, you can't run overlays. VSync is always enabled, which kind of sucks. We can't unlock the frame rate, so it's going to be stuck at 60 FPS. It's going to be stuck at either 60 or 120 or 144, whatever your monitor's refresh rate at. It's going to be stuck at that. It's going to have input lag as well with VSync. It's going to be annoying as hell. I turned VSync off on all of my games. You can't really run recording software with it as well. Benchmarking utilities won't work. Things like Fraps that use overlays, MSI Afterburner as well. Those overlays don't work. So it's gonna be a bugger to record, because nearly all of my recording software uses an overlay. So why would I get this, really? Why would we want this game if we can't record it? It's going to be difficult to stream as well. Apparently that's going to be difficult. Although streaming it, you can stream it from the window. It always runs borderless window, which I run most of my games borderless window, to be honest with you. It's not really a big issue. You can't actually run it full screen, which might annoy some people. So there's a lot of restrictions with Windows 10 apps as well. So there's no Steam version. Certainly no GOG DRM free version. There's going to be no DRM free version, of course. But I think it's gonna hurt the game. It's gonna hurt it. So, and Microsoft, if they want to take PC gaming seriously, then don't burn bridges with the PC gaming community. We still remember, still fresh in our minds, Games for Windows Live. Okay. The train wreck that was is fresh in our memory. And it reminds me of Halo 2. Okay, Halo 2, we wanted it on PC. It comes out on PC, Windows Vista exclusive. Did that do well, Microsoft? Did Halo 2 do well on PC? Did we get Halo 3? No, because Halo 2 didn't do well enough on PC. That was the reason why we never got any more Halo games. And, Windows Vista was the requirement. No one fucking wanted Windows Vista. I stuck with XP. It's like, I'm sticking with XP. And then 7 was good. Upgrade to 7. But, it's like, 10 seems alright. I'm gonna probably upgrade to 10. I might buy the Xbox One version, though, just to get the free copy. I might do that, because if it's free, might as well. It looks interesting, Quantum Break. Now, the system requirements were revealed for it, and they were quite interesting, to say the least, okay? We'll go over the minimum requirements for it first. There was two versions of system requirements released, okay? The minimum requirements, of course, the operating system, Windows 10, 64-bit. Okay, that's obvious. It's a DirectX 12 game, requires DirectX 12. The minimum required CPU is a Core i5 4460. It's not too bad, really. Kind of a middle-of-the-road Core i5, or an AMD FX 6300. Again, the FX 6300, quite popular among those who like to do budget builds. Certainly a good budget end CPU, the 6-core AMD. The GPU was the GTX 760 or the AMD R7 260X. I don't think they're comparable, really. I thought 760 was more comparable to a 270. I don't know. I thought that's what they were kind of. I thought a 260 is like a 750, is it not? Not very comparable. 8 gigabytes of RAM, fairly standard. 2 gigabytes of VRAM, and which again is fairly standard these days. 55 gigabytes of hard drive space available. Again, most games are pretty huge. That's not a surprise. DirectX 12, of course. So some of the older cards that you have, you know, older NVIDIA and AMD cards, will not work. I think it's the AMD 2 series, I think, are the only ones that are 2 and 3, obviously, DirectX 12. And I think it's a GTX. I don't think the 6 series is DirectX 12 compatible. I don't know, or it won't be fully featured DirectX 12. So that's why you're going to need a GTX 7 series. Fairly modern graphics cards you're going to need. The original, we'll go over the original recommended requirements, which they changed later on. Of course, the CPU was an Intel Core i7 4790. Jesus, you know. And here was me thinking DirectX 12 was going to have less CPU overhead. And now the recommended requirements were an i7. The GPU is interesting. It recommended originally a GTX 980 Ti or an AMD R9 Fury X. That is ridiculous, utterly ridiculous, as a recommended requirement. The recommended was then changed to the Ultra spec. It recommends 16 gigabytes of RAM and 6 gigs of VRAM, which an R9 Fury X doesn't have. Should point out, it's 4 gigabytes. Got HBM memory, high bandwidth memory. The Fury series, the 980 Ti has 6 gig of VRAM as well. They did revise this by releasing a new recommended specs. Okay, it came out a day later, and the new recommended specs were Core i5 4690 or AMD equivalent. I think mine. Well, the i5 is probably a bit better than mine. I have an AMD FX 8350, so yeah, the i5 4690 probably is a better CPU than that. The recommended GPU is the GTX 970 or the AMD R9 390. Again, those are sort of quite popular amongst the sort of mid-range builders, mid-range PC builders. The 970 is pretty popular as well. Requires 4 gig of VRAM, might be an issue for the 970. It's what it recommends, of course, because the 970 doesn't have 4 gig of VRAM. The 390 has 8 gig of VRAM, at least. Just pointing out that. But yeah, 3.5 gigs of RAM on the 970. It recommends 16 gigabytes of system memory. Now, they did clarify that the original spec is Ultra spec, which, again, I don't know, is that 4K maybe? Because for 4K, I mean, the 980 Ti will struggle at 4K on the highest settings, as will the R9 Fury X. There's no single GPU setup that can run modern games maxed out at 4K at 60 FPS. Okay, there's there's nothing graphics card wise. Two 980 Ti's can get close to it. Two Fury X's can get close to 60. But 4K 60 FPS is a long way away. And I thought the whole point of DirectX 12 was to sort of minimize the CPU overhead that we get in a lot of games these days. Certainly be more efficient than DirectX 11. It doesn't seem to be the case because, you know, those requirements are pretty much what we'd expect from a DirectX 11 game. Bear in mind that Quantum Break is running on the Xbox One. Okay, and it is going to be Windows Store. What is it called? Microsoft Store, Windows Store. I don't even know what it's called. I don't even have Windows 10. I might get it. I might get it at some point and have a go at this. I might pre-order the Xbox One version just to get the free copy of the PC version, because why not? I mean, if it doesn't run well on your PC, you've got the Xbox One version. So I'm quite surprised that the settings are so high, considering it is an Xbox One version, although this is Remedy, who of course made, what is it? It is Remedy, isn't it? It's makers of Alan Wake, really. It is Remedy, isn't it? Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, it was the folk that made Alan Wake. That was Remedy Entertainment that made that. Pretty sure it was. Don't remember. Doesn't say here. Let's see if it says. Ultra Spec. Remedy. Yeah, Remedy it is. So it's the people who made Alan Wake, the people who made Max Payne as well. Max Payne was excellent on PC. And, you know, Alan Wake was underrated. I liked Alan Wake. It was a cool game. It was actually quite a cool game. I had a nice little expansion pack as well, which was pretty damn cool. But anyway, that is all for this video. What do you think about Quantum Break? Does being on the Windows Store put you off buying it? For me, it kinda does, but I wasn't really interested in Quantum Break, I'll be honest. But ever since it got announced for PC, now I'm interested in it. You know, I was like, Xbox One, nah, I'll pass. But I might just pre-order it, the digital edition for Xbox One, so I get a free PC version. So, hey, I got nothing to lose. Doesn't work on PC very well? I'll play it on Xbox One. At 30 FPS probably. 900p maybe, you know. Because if those are the requirements for PC, God knows what it's going to be like on the Xbox One. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.